What's been the greatest technological innovation during your lifetime? Maybe the internet, the iPhone, the Keurig? Well, coming from this introvert, I would put caller ID right at the top of the list. As a shy kid, I absolutely hated answering the phone without having any idea who was calling. And to be honest with you, I still don't usually answer unknown numbers. That's what voicemail's for, right? Health is Wealth is presented by Meridian Health Services, with support from Lifestream Services. Kendrick Kwoczalla, a licensed mental health counselor at Open Door Health Services, told me 15 million adults in the United States have been diagnosed with social anxiety disorder. That's 7% of the population. Another way to think about it, that's more than the populations of New York City, Los Angeles, and Chicago combined. I asked Kendrick what differentiates someone with social anxiety from someone who's just shy or introverted.
A shy person might need it might be more taxing or take energy for them to interact socially, and they need to recharge, while someone who's more outgoing and extroverted is going to be filled with energy the more they interact with other people. But for someone who's socially anxious, they're not going to be able to go outside and make as many friends or those connections. How is it affecting your life? Is it keeping you from kind of doing what you want? That is really the hallmark of any mental health diagnosis.
A core part of social anxiety disorder is fear of being judged, rejected, or humiliated. This anxiety or fear can center around specific social situations, including meeting new people, using public restrooms, or giving a speech. Or it can manifest in all social situations. The National Institute of Mental Health describes this fear that a person with social anxiety experiences as, quote, so intense that they feel it is beyond their control. For many people, this keeps them from doing everyday activities like going to work or school. Others are able to do social activities but feel a lot of fear or anxiety when they do. For people with social anxiety, Kendrick recommends a holistic approach to treatment, like he would with any type of anxiety diagnosis.
When I look at social anxiety, I just kind of look at it as all anxiety. Just social situations are the trigger for them. So, there's medications that can help reduce the symptoms of anxiety, which would be things like experiencing a rapid heart rate, increased breathing, muscle tenseness. Oftentimes, especially with young children, they tell you they're sick to their stomach. The thing with treatment of social anxiety, we do need that exposure. So in therapy or even looking up online, you can learn different coping strategies. And there's plenty of meditations apps out there for free, yoga, exercise. There's all different kinds of ways. And in therapy, you can learn even more coping skills that can help kind of turn off that fight or flight that's going in your brain, which is just telling you, saying, I need to run, I need to avoid this situation. And then the more exposure you get, eventually your brain kind of starts to realize, okay, I'm safe in this situation. Or, hey, this social interaction didn't go with my negative beliefs of what I expected. And over time, we'll see, that can go away.
Kendrick recommends starting with small steps. Don't start by going to a crowded place or giving a speech. Like building any new habit, it's important to start with small wins and work your way up to bigger changes. In other words, focus on one keystone habit.
I would say finding small outlets that you can go and make it regularly, or an enjoyed activity that you already have that I can find other people with this similar interest.
In other words, relationships. Charles Duhigg, in his book, The Power of Habit, says a key part of individual change is belief. Believing that you can stick with this habit even when things get hard. And nothing makes change feel more possible than being with friends who believe in you.
Having a good social support network and having those relationships helps predict later in life less health problems than even eating unhealthy. So it's better to have a Twinkie with a friend than broccoli alone.
His words, not mine. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go find someone to share these Twinkies with. Since you're still watching, like this video and subscribe to get the next episode of Health is Wealth. when we'll talk about the difference between loneliness and social isolation, and which generation is the loneliest. It surprised me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.